This is SportsCenter.
Hey, I'm Reagan Subban, filling in for Marissa Roberto, and this is Digital Sportscentre presented by Montana's Barbecue and Bar. And the Red Hot Leafs host the Preds tonight. And when I say red hot, that's no hyperbole. Since November 4th, Toronto is 9-2-0. That .818 points percentage is the best in the NHL in the last month. And oddly enough, they're doing it with defense and goaltending, as they're only allowing 2 goals a game in that stretch, which is also best in the NHL. This unreal stretch have them first in the Atlantic, as they're tied with Florida with 32 points, but have 2 games in hand on them. Now, winning the division will be something special for Toronto. For starters, they've never won the Atlantic, and going back to 99-2000, they've only won the division twice, the Northeast Division that year, and then in 2020-21, they won the All-Canadian North Division. But that was a weird COVID season, so who knows how we'll look at that historically. Now, the craziest thing about this recent Leafs run of form is that Austin Matthews only played 2 games in that stretch. He has looked great in those 2 games, though, scoring once with 2 assists. One other Leafs note tonight, Ryan Reeves will be back in the lineup as his 5-game suspension has come to an end. The big day is finally here, as it's roster reveal day for the upcoming Four Nations face-off. And we just can't wait, we're too excited. Canada's roster will officially be unveiled later tonight, but we have a pretty good idea who's on the team thanks to our TSN insiders. So let's dive in. We know Crosby, Marchand, McKinnon, Point, McDavid, and McCarr are going to be there because they were announced months ago. The rest of the team was really anyone's guess. As you can see, this is a roster loaded with talent, and pretty much stacked across every position. Every position except goaltending, but we'll get to that in a minute. The forwards are electric, blending speed, skill, and a surprisingly noticeable amount of grit, with names like Sam Bennett and Travis Konechny projected to make it according to our insiders. With more power forwards than we're used to seeing on Team Canada, they bring a physicality that can wear down opponents while still putting up points. But the biggest question everyone is talking about is goaltending, and who Canada will choose between the pipes. Canada has been blessed with great goaltending in the past, with names like Brodeur, Waugh, Price, and Luongo, but the general consensus is that this is the weakness of the squad. Binnington and Hill have backstopped their teams to Stanley Cup, and they both have a save percentage around .900 this season. Montembeault has shown signs of impressive goaltending and owns a .901 save percentage, but those names just don't jump off the page, especially in comparison to the names in the past, like I mentioned earlier. And when you look at some of the goalies on the other teams, this is definitely a weak spot for Team Canada. Now, there aren't many notable omissions on the roster. However, a year ago, many would have projected Connor Bedard here, but with the disappointing season he's having and his age, it's easy to see why he would be left off. Now remember, this is just a projection from our insiders, and the official roster will be released tonight. But these guys are great, and I think they nailed it. What a special night at the Bell Centre. A moment I feel like only Montreal could give a player. Time now for the Big Play Replay presented by Montana's Barbecue and Bar. Of course, in Patrick Laine's first game as a Hab, he was going to score. And what a goal and moment it was.
Suzuki. Back to Laine Hudson. Laine thought about the one-timer, rips it, score! Welcome to the Bell Centre, Patrick Laine! His first as a Montreal Canadian, his first on the power play, and the Bell Centre comes alive.
You can't write it any better than that for Patrick Laine. Back at the Bell Centre, his first game as a Montreal Canadian, and Ryan Pulock, you cannot give Patrick Laine that much time and space.
We were waiting for this as Habs fans, but I feel like as hockey fans in general, because he's been through so much, to see it in his first game, beautiful. That was also his first goal since December 14th of last year. And to make it even more special, he became the 600th player to score a goal in Montreal Canadiens history. And what a moment after the game, as he was named the first star. Now joined by our gambling guy, Wes Chang. Great to see you, Wes.
Hey, great to see you, Reagan.
Wes, the Raps are suddenly red hot. They've won 3 of their last 4 and 5 of their last 8. Is this team too good to tank? And should we be looking at their win total, or dare I say, to make the play-in?
I'm really worried this team is too good to tank right now. But one or the other there, I take a look at their win total.
Okay.
Their schedule's been really rough up to this point. We've mentioned this actually on DSC in the past. So now that they've gone through a bit of a gauntlet in the new year, there's going to be some easier games in the schedule. So there's a good chance for them to pick up some wins. Talking about the play-in, though. Play-in, I don't know if that's a bridge too far, but there's another bet that you can look at on FanDuel to see exactly where the Raptors will finish. And one of the tiers is 8th to 11th. And that pays plus 220. I can count 4 teams that objectively want to finish below the Raptors there. Yeah. So you can look at it on the graphic. These 4 teams, there's a good chance they'll be there. Can the Raptors make it to the play-in? I'm not sure, but 11th, I think that's actually a reasonable expectation.
Okay. A lot of this great play has been fueled by the play of Scotty Barnes. What prop should we be looking at when it comes to Scotty? And do you have an early lean on the game when it comes to Thursday against OKC?
Dimes. Scotty Barnes assist is where it's at. He's had 6 or more dimes in every single game since he's returned to the lineup. And look at this Raptors team. Look at Coach Darko. What does he preach? Ball movement, ball movement, ball movement. The Raptors are 6th in the NBA in assists per game. Yeah. Scotty's a big part of that. But talking about this game coming up against OKC, one of the best defensive teams in the NBA, sometimes you got to pick and choose your battles. I like taking Scotty's passing in every opportunity I get. This is not one of them. I think it's just worth standing down, find an easier, softer matchup on the schedule, and then you go back to Scotty. Sometimes good defense, just not a good setup, and I think this is one of those times where you just got to stand down.
Yeah, for sure. Wes Chang, a pleasure always.
Hey, thanks for having me.
That's all for today. Marissa will be right back here tomorrow. Have a good one.